left side.
You see it.
It's pretty damn neat.
Here you go.
Settings. Video. You know.
There it goes. Uh-oh. Oh, that's what they call it, the owl. Look. Look
There
at
you
this.
go. There you
Look at
are.
the eyes. The eyes, that's pretty damn neat.
Do you have a blur set on there?
Ooh, we got a slim
Yeah.
thing there. You can slim me down. That's nice. It blurs everything in the background.
I think it's under video effects,
Yeah.
It's trying to go to you, but you're talking. Now it's more like.
right onto the, right on that drop down right here.
See how it's.
Do you see it?
cut?
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking.
Oh, fine. Cool. Hello. Hello.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll just follow.
That's awesome.
That's
Thank
pretty
you.
damn neat.
Here's my favorite salary negotiation hack that which means you have to show a salary range for every single job. So I'll give you that.
Right there.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Later in the negotiation process, you can use their literal.
Well, we're super excited. Feel free as we're presenting, refill your coffee, get some refreshments, some water. Restrooms, if you need to go to the restrooms, they're down to the left. We have some people joining us virtually. We will record this. So if you or anyone you know wasn't able to attend, we'll send out a recording of it, and then we'll also send out the report as well.
XYZ projects, and I've done these things. It's genius. And I've seen it work time and time again.
I think you can also hear someone talking. Yeah.
And then everyone online could mute. Go ahead and mute your call if you're online, or maybe we'll mute it for you. Thank you. So just a reminder, sponsorship is open right now. So if you want to get the early bird pricing, that ends at the end of this month. And then if you want to, the full sponsorship closes next month. So thank you to our fund sponsor, Lighting Associates. Thank you so much to the event underwriter, Colleen and Steelcase, for everything that they did to help us up with this. Go ahead and put that. Again, we mentioned this at the holiday party, but if you want to get more involved, here are the positions that we're looking for. So you can jump right in and join the board with no past experience needed, or you can dip your toes and get joined on a committee. So we have advocacy, community impact, special events, and then board positions, president-elect. That is a very much needed one. So if anyone is interested, community impact, members, special events, and sponsorship. And then here's just some of our upcoming events. We're really excited. The February 8th event is going to be a partnership with ASID. So advocacy, we're bringing in the leadership from headquarters, ASID advocacy leadership, and then also our CIDQ, Matt's, I forget his last name. But we're bringing them in, having a panelist kind of talking about our advocacy efforts. We have a project tour, sponsorship deadline. Some people have been asking about Capes for Kids. So here is the date. We are doing that. That'll also be on the website, and then Unravel in May. So with that being said, thank you, and let's get talking salary and benefits.
Can everybody hear us online?
Can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for coming. We had a record turnout this year with 101 participants in the survey. So thank you all for your participation, because that's what makes this survey great.
Last year we had 67.
Yeah, big increase. And again, thank you to Colleen and Steelcase for underwriting and organizing this event. She was the brains behind this awesome location. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we will hop right in. So we'll start off with the demographics of our survey. We all know this, we are an industry that has a majority of females, and we're trying to really increase people of color coming into our industry. So these are some facts that keep in mind. We also added a new question this year to go over mental health, physical health, different abilities that people might struggle with in the workplace. So that's really great to see. And another thing to note, any questions, just save those to the end and we'll have some time to go over this. Experience in education. So we had a good mix of people that had ranges of experience in the industry this year. A majority of us do have bachelor's degree, and a thing to note is only 2 of 18 respondents in leadership roles have master's degrees. Student debt. We all have it, except 42% of us. So again, having some different ranges in there, but the median range was 10 to 20,000. So pretty manageable compared to some other industries. It's nice to see. And people online, feel free to add questions in the chat, and Stephanie Donnelly with the membership committee will be helping out and answering those questions as well. And we can also get back to those at the end. Okay, so the one we've all been waiting for. So we did things a little bit differently this year. We added some different ranges of years of experience. And then you'll also see in the columns to the right, we do have the information from last year. So I'm just going to kind of go over these one at a time. So we had 2 intern respondents this year, and the range was right at $20 an hour. Compared to last year, it was at $16 an hour with 4 respondents. Interior design professionals, a majority of them were in the years of experience from 0 to 3. That years of experience ranged for salary from 40 to 59,000 with a median salary range of 50 to 54. Compared to last year's, it was the same. Going up to 3 to 5 years, you went to 45 to 69, with the median range jumping up to 65 to 69, which was an increase from last year's median salary range of 50 to 54. Those with 5 to 10 years of experience ranged from 50 to 69 and had a median salary range of 60 to 69, which was a slight decrease from last year's, but we only did have 1 respondent in that range from last year, so keep that in mind. And then last, we had 1 respondent with 10 plus years, which had a 65 to 69 salary range. Jumping up to certified interior designers. So these do not have to be licensed with the state. These are just NCIDQ certified. Just keep that in mind. We did not have any in the 0 to 3 years of experience range, but going to 3 to 5 years of experience, that median salary range was 60 to 64. Once you jump up to 5 to 10 years, that goes to 70 to 74. And then 10 plus is 75 to 79. And I want to note too that if any of you have any questions, feel free to reach out to members at IIDA Gateway. We do have these broken up into more distinct years of experience ranges too. So if you guys have any questions on that, just let us know. And you'll notice that some of these years of experience range for higher roles such as senior interior designer and design lead will go up a little bit in the ranges that we see. So we'll start off with the senior interior designers. In the 3 to 10 years of experience range, the median salary was 60 to 69. We only did have 2 respondents to note, so that's why that might not compare as great to the 2022-2023 respondent. And then we had 8 people in the 10 to 15 range, and that median was 75 to 79. Something to note, in the 2022-2023, we did not track ranges above 10 years. So anything, all of these 13 respondents had 10 plus years of experience. And then we had 3 in the 15 to 20 years of experience, and that got into the 100,000 to 109. And lastly, 20 plus years, 100,000 to 109. Another blurb at the bottom is 24.2% of respondents said they do not feel fairly compensated, and that's compared to 18.5% of respondents in last year's survey. On to the next one, we'll start off with project managers. 3 to 10 was 60 to 64 median. 10 to 15 was 80 to 84. And 15 to 20, which was the majority of respondents, was 80 to 89. And then leadership roles, so this includes principals, firm leadership, stakeholders, director of design. We had range of experience from 3 years all the way up to 20 plus. In the 3 to 10, the median salary range was 85 to 89. In the 10 to 15 years, that went up to 100 to 109. 15 to 20, the median range went back down to 85 to 89. And then 20 plus went down to 80 to 85. And then we also had sales reps included in our survey, and this does include business development roles. We had one respondent in the 0 to 3 years of experience range, which their median salary was 55 to 60. We did not have any in 2022 to 2023. We had 3 respondents this year with 3 to 10 years of experience. And that fell into the 100 to 110 salary range. 2 in the 10 to 20 years with 75 to 85. And then 6, a majority with 20 plus years of experience with a median salary range of 100 to 110, but at the very max up to 149. And then we wanted to break this out this year. So we had 8 respondents who make 100 plus and are NCIDQ certified. Of those, the median experience was 20 to 25 years, but the minimum was 10 to 15. And titles included 4 senior designers, 3 principals, 1 sales rep, and 1 certified interior designer. We also had 9 non-certified respondents who make 100,000 plus. The median experience for that was 10 to 15 years, minimum being 5 to 10. And then titles included 5 sales rep, 3 principals, and 1 senior designer. One other thing to note, this will be going on our website as well, so you guys can download this and feel free to use this to advocate for yourselves in your workplace. Switching workplaces, a topic that we all know. How long have you been at your current workplace? So a majority of us, 31%, have been there 5 to 10 years, though there are quite a few different ranges in there. And an interesting thing to point out was out of 98 respondents to this question, 71, which is 72%, have either switched workplaces in the last 3 years or are currently considering switching workplaces. So get your recruiters ready. And then there were different answers to why people have switched workplaces in the last 3 years. Some of the most popular being salary, work-life balance, and change in project type / work.
Hey, can I ask a really important question right now? You did say there was only 101 people who filled out this form.
Yep. So something to note, not everybody answers each question. So for some of these questions, you'll see like 98 respondents. That just means out of all the people who answered, only 98 of 101 respondents replied to this particular question. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's a good question. And then moving on to certifications. So how many years after graduation did you receive NCIDQ certification? A majority of those who are certified did that 3 to 5 years after graduation at 19%. And then 45% or 45 of the 61 people who responded to this question are NCIDQ certified. So keep in mind the others that didn't respond just probably don't have certifications. So 22 out of 61 are also registered interior designers, registered with the state. 13 are well AP, 24 are LEED, 3 are EDAC, 1 is CHID, and 1 is Fitwell. 86.5% of firms pay for certification exam fees. Though something that we've heard feedback on is whether that is partial or full. So we're going to start tracking that in next year's survey. That statistic was down from last year's at 91.8%. And 29.7% of respondents saw no change in their compensation or job title following certifications. And licensure. So something that we're working on with advocacy right now that we will get to in the next slide. But if you pass your NCIDQ, are you registered with the state of Missouri, or Illinois. So a majority said no at 59.6%. But there's, we're getting closer to that goal. And then if you are NCIDQ certified and not registered, what obstacles are keeping you from registering? Finding the time to complete the application, cost, and no direct benefit currently. Well, we do have a direct benefit for you because the median salary range for registered interior designers is going to be higher at 85 to 89,000 compared to 75 to 79 for non-registered. So that's a 10 grand different, folks. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of registering. And then I'm going to pass this off to Kelly, who is our VP of Advocacy. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so we did a couple of slides about advocacy as we are introducing a bill for 2024. So we are working on getting a bill passed through our session, which would allow registered interior designers to sign and seal drawings that don't require structural or exterior envelope changes. So first question, are you familiar with what our legislative efforts are? 48% said somewhat, 35, yes, very much, very happy about that. And not at all, 17%, which is fine. Because as Ashley mentioned, we are going to have an event in February. Just as what Missouri currently holds, we currently hold a Title Act, which is a voluntary registration for interior designers. 12 states currently hold the same Title Act, but with permitting privileges, and that is what we are trying to get passed this year.
And it's, I was gonna say, and some of it's like Illinois, right? It's kind of like our neighboring states.
Yeah, Illinois, Iowa. So we're trying to.
If you scroll down.
Oh, scroll down. Oops, sorry.
No, you do.
Okay, and then we also asked, because we've gotten a lot of questions about this effort. So how can us as an organization, IIDA Gateway, facilitate a better understanding of advocacy and legislative efforts? So we got a lot of responses, our little word cloud here. The biggest one was having an event and being more open to communication. So some of the other options or some of the other comments we received was just a better understanding of what we're trying to do. So again, as Ashley mentioned, February 8th, we are joining with ASID here in St. Louis, which will be really exciting. We're going to hold a joint advocacy panel, and we're bringing in our national IIDA, ASID, and CIDQ directors of advocacy. And they are going to discuss kind of what we're doing locally as well as nationally. I also believe our Senator Tracy McCreary, who, if you live in the Creve Coeur area, she's your senator. She is sponsoring our bill, and she will also be there at the event. Oh, sorry.
I know it's touchy.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna switch on over to membership. So 50.5% of respondents are members of IIDA. Some reasons for not being members are cost. If your workplace doesn't cover the cost, schedule conflicts with most events. Some choose to be a sponsor instead, as that money goes directly into our local chapter. And then others just don't know enough to join or don't understand how to join. So if that is your problem, please feel free to contact me at members@iidagateway.com. And then 83.5% of firms pay for membership to professional organizations compared to 87.5% in 22 to 2023. Hours and work from home. So a majority of us work about 40 to 50 hours a week at 62.6%. And on average, how many days do you work from home / elsewhere? We had responses that ran the full gamut. So some are required to be in office full-time, 14.9%, 32% work one day, and so on. 81.2 respondents are satisfied or very satisfied with their weekly hours compared to 76% from 2022 to 2023. So that was a nice jump. And then 20.5% of respondents receive overtime. And benefits. So hopefully we all have health insurance, life insurance, dental. Some jumps that we saw and requests that were from last year was wellness incentives. So now 26% of respondents receive those. And then 78.6% of employers offer reimbursement for professional certifications such as NCIDQ or AIA, compared to 82.8% in 2022 to 2023. So you will notice a little bit of drop in some of those benefits that are being offered. Out of benefits that are not currently at your workplace but would be nice to have, 12 said wellness incentives still. 5 said full reimbursement for memberships and professional exams. Other answers were pet insurance, paid volunteered hours, parental leave and or fertility benefits, and tuition reimbursement. A majority of us receive about 2 to 3 weeks of PTO, with 10% being unlimited. And only one respondent out of the 98 people who answered the questions about benefits receives fertility benefits. And I will hand this off now to Emily, who is our VP of Community Impact.
Okay. So just some quick numbers that we had last year also. 90.6 said their workplace demonstrates a commitment to meeting the needs of employees with disabilities. That is up from 80.6% last year, which is great. 56.4 said their workplace supports and provides resources that promotes diversity. Awesome. But would love to increase that. 89.9 said they are comfortable advocating for diversity in their workplace. So if you have an ERG, people will show up, and that's lovely. 81.2 said their workplace is not minority certified in any way. Do you feel you have been denied opportunity based on any of the following? We have a large amount that said no this year, which is great, but still do have some in there. Whoa. That is,
Yeah, sorry.
hold on. Is that the next one? No.
Hold it.
Okay, that one. Like, is your workplace diverse in terms of gender and or race/ethnicity? And then next to it, we have the firm leadership. So the colors are the same between the two. So it's interesting just to see those side by side, where those are at. In 2022 to 2023, 74.6% said their workplace is diverse in terms of gender, and 76.1% said their workplace leadership is not diverse in terms of race/ethnicity. Okay, this one got a little small, but the left one is, during your career, have you experienced behavior that was offensive or made you feel alienated based on your race, ethnicity, sex, gender, identity, etc.? So 46% said they have not. And then the next number up would be yes from outside my organization. 14% was yes from a coworker. Next question was, if you were to experience behavior that was offensive or made you feel alienated based on your race, ethnicity, sex, gender, identity, etc., are you confident that your workplace would actively address these issues? So 46.9 said yes, but they don't know the policy. So that would be a great thing for leadership to make sure that everyone on their team knows. And 36.5 said yes, but then 16.7 said no. So that's still good to know. Oh, I forgot the little part. When asked if firms have diversity policy that goes beyond what is legally required, 19.2 said yes, 20.2 said no, and 60 said unsure. Okay. So last year we had like 2 slides on like blurbs and like what are the issues that we see in our industry? And this year, we're more about solutions and trying to attack those issues that we heard from last year. We are going to have another event with AIA and St. Louis NOMA like we have the past years. And based off of the answers from this, we're going to look and see what that event topic could be. So we appreciate everyone who filled out this answer with some good suggestions on how to improve. So the question was suggestions to improve equity within our interior design community. Introduce students at a younger age to internships, educating others within the industry on our capabilities and how invaluable we are. Providing scholarships within the EDI community to go to school for design. Love that one. More information on what this career is, not just picking colors, to high school students, especially in less affluent areas. Design Enrolled is a great first step in making this possible. Keep providing programs or topics that continues the discussion on that. No, I feel as though our industry is very diverse. Continued education about the role of interior designers and what we are educated and certified in. I believe there is a lot of misunderstanding in that role that interior designers play in the built environment, which requires continued education amongst our peers and other trades such as architects and engineers, etc. Advocacy, I feel like has a good bubble on that. Gender age discrimination is especially prevalent in the construction/corporate aspects of the job. Often it is older and more male generation discrimination, not respecting young women in the industry until you're proved your worth. I think that's with us, but also a lot of other industries, not just us specifically. And the last one is focus on extending knowledge and resources to minority and low-income students in secondary education, high school. So I appreciate everyone that answered this with good solutions. This is not me. I don't remember this slide.
Kind of piggybacking off of that equity conversation. So this is equity in our own design community. So these are kind of hard numbers to look at. 13% of us do not feel a sense of belonging in our interior design community, and 24.5% do not feel a sense of belonging in our IIDA Gateway chapter. And out of 49 respondents who are not members of IIDA, 20% do not feel a sense of belonging in the interior design community or IIDA Gateway chapter. So what advice do we have for designers who are interested in using this survey to advocate for a salary increase in their workplace? We had some really great responses to this question. Some of my favorites were approaching the discussion collaboratively, not focusing on the problem between you and your employer, but you and your employer versus this problem. Noting instances of when you exceeded your role, when you received recognition, and then using those to support your case for a salary increase. And then out of 89 respondents who replied to this question, 38.2% were able to use the information from the 2022-2023 survey to advocate for themselves in the workplace. That was great, but there's always room for improvement. And then lastly, if you have suggestions or clarifications for questions to be included in next year's survey, please let us know. You can scan this QR code here, but these are some of the examples that we had in this year's survey. Clarify partial or full reimbursement of membership dues, which I mentioned back before. Include information of tasks outside of your designated role, such as social media, RFQ submittals. Allowing multiple answers to the offensive behavior question. And then also comparing this to the AIA compensation report and the national report that IIDA does as well. But that is the end of our survey, and I would love to answer any of your guys' questions that you might have. I'm also going to close out of this real quick so I can see if we have questions online.
slide that said they didn't feel like they belonged, did we have any follow-up questions for that? Like,
Yeah, so the question was on the slide that asked about belonging in our interior design community. Did we have a follow-up question? No, we did not, but I think that's a great suggestion of things to include in next year's survey. So also, if you have any suggestions and or clarifications outside of, just a survey of things that we can do as the Gateway chapter to support you in your career, please let us know.
Can we just have a quick brainstorm now of things that can be
Sure.
done to like find that sense of belonging?
Yeah, yeah.
Me as a young designer with joining committee, like without those kind of purposeful efforts, where you sit side by side next to a stranger and solve problems together, that's the best way to start to feel that sense of belonging. But let's brainstorm and share other ideas of how people have found those friendships.
Yeah, I love that.
Can everyone that's online hear people talking? Maybe we passed around the microphone. Yeah, I would like definitely suggest, and I say the same thing of like joining the committee. Since moving here 3 years ago, I kind of like hopped into the present electoral without being on the board. And it's just now helped me like meet so many faces and like have friendly faces from the board, but then, throughout the board and beyond that too. And then I think it's also upon each of us as individuals, and like, I need to be better about this, myself included, of like, when we get to these events, we kind of stick to our bubbles and like the people that we know. So we need to be better to reach out to someone who's like by themselves and introduce yourself and say hello.
Related to that, but just also maybe a question, idea for question, something about mentoring or mentorship, whether you have a mentor in the community or outside of the community.
That I always think mentorship improves your sense of community, grows your social network. Obviously, there's other professional benefits as well, but might help in sense of belonging.
And or a specific event that drives those connections, whether it's speed networking or other, like let's brainstorm on what's an event or an experience that helps drive those connections better.
That was a good segue. I wanted to give a plug for the Student Affairs Committee because we do run the local mentorship program, which unfortunately over the last 4 years has seen a decline in participation from our professionals. And it's been a struggle. I know those in this room who've been in the leadership position with IIDA has seen kind of a decline in participation on a lot of fronts. I know that actually I'm sitting next to somebody who participated in a student shadowing day with me 4 years ago, and she came up and introduced herself. So of course I remembered her, and I was glad to see that she's here and encouraged her to get involved with IIDA. I think I personally in a leadership role have struggled to have a work-life balance, but Lindsay called with me and said, hey, you need to get involved with student affairs. So the last 2 years I've been involved in that, and I've seen a lot of really great benefits, both professionally and just, socially, so that I can see the students kind of come into their own careers. So I feel like just an encouragement to everybody, if you don't feel connected, to find that way to connect with others, whether or not they're students or maybe younger professionals who need some guidance.
Any other comments on that topic?
Just a suggestion for next year, maybe to understand the years of experience when it comes to the sense of belonging. Is it our younger designers? Is it our leadership? I think that would be good to know too.
Great.
I think it's also really helpful if there's any leaders in the room from design firms to help push the younger designers to get involved and to attend these things, because I know as a younger designer, that's kind of what it took for me to get out of my comfort zone.
So I know I probably represent a smaller minority that's in this room, but I was a designer and now I'm an independent agent. And my struggle with IIDA is always, do I be a member or do I be a sponsor? And so I chose to be a sponsor, but then I can't be on committees. And so I try to attend events and I would love to get involved in both, but as an independent agent, I don't have that support from my manufacturers to do both. So that's a struggle I see.
Okay, do we have other questions for the survey results?
So at the beginning, I think, at the beginning, you mentioned DEI efforts. And it was just a quick flash of, here we are, a lot of white people in the room, you know. What are the efforts moving forward? Like, what's the next steps for IIDA?
Well, so through community impact. Oh, okay. So through community impact, we have 3 branches. We are EDI, community outreach, environmental awareness. So through each of those branches, we have different events, but specifically the EDI event, last year we had 2 events. One was focused on, I'm blanking. Yeah, employee resource groups. And what was our other one? I'm blanking. Don't have right now. Neurodiversity. So we had those 2 events. We're trying to figure out what the best way of working is, because we have had those events with AIA and St. Louis NOAA with their EDI teams, because we're all trying to do the same thing together. So why don't we just come together and have it, right? I will say attendance has slowly gone up and up on those events, but it definitely, like, the more we talk about it, the hopefully more people come. Also, Design Your World is a big effort for EDI, because that is focused on bringing people in that usually don't see design as a viable career opportunity. And it's a paid internship.
Tell people what Design Your
Oh, Design Your World. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Design Your World is a 2-week program for high school students that is technically put on by IIDA HQ, but as our local chapter, we're the ones who are coordinating and facilitating the event. So we have an instructor and then reps that came in and presented, and they go through and, like, they learn all about the basics of interior design and, you know, how to draw in 3D. And then at the end, they have this, like, what I would call like a senior show type of event where they present their projects. And it's one big project that each of the different groups, like, took a section of and then presented to the group. So we had, I think, 27 students this past year, which is the biggest that Design Your World has seen. So far, it's only been in Chicago and Miami. So we were the 3rd city, which is great. But between Design Your World and our EDI events, we're trying to make a way. But if anyone has any suggestions, please reach out to me. My email is impact@IIDA Gateway. Yeah. Did I answer your question? Okay.
I do have a question about what Yvette said about student participation.
My question is about what Yvette was saying about student, that the interest has waned a little bit. Yvette, could you elaborate, or anybody that's involved with students getting in the mentorship program or getting involved, why do you think that that's declined? Because I think that that's our most immediate resource.
Hasn't really waned. I think that we've actually seen somewhat of an increase in that. It's been primarily on the professional side. I think our mentors are supposed to be IIDA members, so that may be one hurdle to gain participation. I'm not sure if we changed it or not, but I think we are running around, I think we ended up with 15 to 20 this year. We did restructure the program a little bit so that we could see, because I think some of the feedback from some of the professionals were, particularly during the time of COVID, that students were ghosting them and maybe not participating. Which more. Everyone. Yeah, I know. But it really saw a decline. And one of the things that we've, as part of our strategy to try to reinforce participation is actually going back to the schools. I know that our group has increased in size, and we sent a pair of representatives to each of the universities we cover, which includes Mizzou, SEMO, Maryville, CETA, and Carbondale. And so I personally have gone, I spent actually an entire day with the students at Mizzou. I figured I have to drive out there anyway. Plus my son goes there. So I thought that was actually really, really beneficial. I had a great day with them and have seen a lot of those students turn up to some of the events that we've had. I mean, obviously, the drive for some of the students in the outer line areas can be a challenge, but I feel like the more we show up for them, the more investment and involvement we'll get from them. So obviously, it's kind of a slow process to take that back a bit, but I think rather than trying to do things virtually, which obviously I personally don't feel like is a terribly effective way to necessarily really get through to them, I felt like actually getting there at 10 o'clock in the morning and spending the entire day with a lot of their classes was great. And that was completely something I did separate from my IDA, but I've seen the students show up and things like that. So I'm hoping that our investment in our committee and that will show them that we're invested in them and that there's great benefits. Because personally, I moved here almost 18 years ago from California, didn't know a soul, and I was encouraged by leadership to get involved with IDA, and here I am. Never knew that I would, end up owner of a firm. I mean, I attribute a lot of my success to the mentorship I had from this program and some of the people who really stood out over the years. So I encourage those, and I actually spoke to the students and encouraged that too. So I mean, it's all of us and not just on committees, but, to attend the events and reach out to those who maybe look like they're standing alone. Because a lot of times, probably not today's event, but we get like the tours and so forth, the students to kind of congregate. So part of my effort is to go and speak with them individually to welcome them to the group and encourage them to attend other events. So.
Okay, now I have the mic.
I participated in the mentor program, and I talked to several of the students who had difficulty coming to evening events because of jobs. And so if there was a chance to do some things over lunchtime or Saturdays, I think you might even get a little more participation.
To add on to the student mentorship. Okay, the LINK program, when we started the LINK program, we had a huge amount of mentors participating, and that was pre-COVID. COVID hit and everything changed. And some of our mentors had ghosting issues with their students. That's gonna happen. It's a mentorship program where we blindly pair you up. So sometimes you're not gonna mesh, and that's unfortunate. But the thing that it happens is new students come in and they still need mentorships, and you might click with the next round of mentors and mentees. So what happened was mentors who had students that ghosted them stopped participating entirely. So our 50 mentors that participated, only 20 came back the next year. And we can't guarantee your student is going to participate with you. What's unfortunate is that means that the rest of the students that come behind them now don't have mentors because of that one bad experience. So I would love for more people to sign up, but we have had to start limiting the amount of students that can participate because we only have so many mentors interested. I totally get the ghosting is unfortunate. It's happened to me. I didn't like it, but they get what they put into it. And I would encourage you to share that with them. So that's my 2 cents. Hopefully we can keep growing with students, and every year you get a different student, and maybe one student you'll click with. Several of our board members now have been LINK students. So it's working. It's just, it could be even better if we all participated.
Whitney, what if instead of limiting the students,
with the amount of mentors that are volunteering, asking them if they'd be willing to take on more than one?
We have done that.
Okay.
The problem is that we actually need the mentor to pay for part of the student's membership. So a lot of mentors don't want to pay for 2 students or can't pay for 2 students. So it works if we're not helping them with their membership, but what we heard from students was that they couldn't afford the membership year after year, which to us probably sounds like not a lot of money at all, but to them, it's a lot when they don't have income and they're paying for it with their student loans. So our way to help them get involved at a younger age was to help supplement that. So you're actually sponsoring a student's IIDA membership when you participate in the LINK program.
How much?
Student memberships are $60 and are a year. It's not your entire time you're a student. It's every year you pay for a $60 membership. And our LINK program, I think it's $40 that a mentor contributes. So that makes the student membership only $20 a year, which is a significant difference to them. $20 is manageable, $60 is overwhelming. So we don't set that, just so everyone knows. That's not a fee that is set by our chapter, it's set by headquarters. But we encourage them to participate, and if we want them to participate, we're doing our best to help them. Well, Maryville and Merrimack, STLCC Merrimack participate the most, but they're also the closest. So it makes sense that they participate the most. We do have a good amount of people every once in a while from SIUC and Mizzou, and SIBA has been participating a lot more recently too. But the more we get into their schools and the more people have successful mentorships and meet people, the better, the more students that want to participate.
Just mention this speed dating thing is so awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Really a highlight of the year, especially for students.
The speed networking is another thing that we need professionals to attend in order to get anything out of it for the students. And that is one event that we do during the day so that the students can participate. The problem is that professionals have a hard time going to that. So what works best for students is like the opposite for professionals. So if you can manage to get away from work, we would love to have your professionals attend those events. But yes, speed networking, we've always done for students. Even, I don't know when that started, way back when that was like our main student event. So we do speed networking, students go around and talk to different professionals. Right now, it feels like there's like 5 students per 1 professional because we just don't have enough professionals that are able to participate. Yeah.
We are doing, one of our initiatives for the program to improve the engagement and kind of implement feedback. We actually gearing up to have our educators roundup in the next month where we get feedback from the actual leadership of the various schools that we cover to help understand what would be valuable to their students. One of the things was to do a portfolio review and some professional development things. So this spring, instead of just a project tour to kind of cap off the LEAD program, those students who are involved and possibly others, I have to check on that, we're doing an event which will be during the day on a Friday, which would be portfolio review. I think another round of speed networking. They're going to get professional headshots for the students too. So hopefully this way, I mean, obviously it's an encouraging thing so that we can see them. And also this is going to be kind of going into the season of potential internships things. So these connections that are established then, I mean, especially if, you know, I think we're going to be trying to get people to get involved because obviously with the amount of students, the professional ratios, we could really use people who are involved. But if you're looking for somebody for the summer, it might be a good opportunity to make those connections now.
Do you have that date already? Because I think that would help everyone.
You know what, we had our committee meeting on Monday. I'll circle that.
It's the beginning of March.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think you have a good turnout if you can get that date out to the professionals.
Date
later. Yeah.
That's why I didn't always put the professionals, but it's the data down.
Yeah.
So the our schedules are planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm newer to St. Louis or return, but played a big part in the Kansas City IIDA chapter for a lot of years. That portfolio review and professional development day with students was one of the best things that we put on as a chapter. And all the professionals and students loved that portfolio review opportunity for finding future candidates and recruitment for internships or employment. So I'd say the earlier we can put those dates on our calendars, you're gonna love that experience and what that can mean to the friendships that get developed.
So I'm an outsider, I'm from the but I'm loving the information that's here. But one thing that we're doing to get professionals a show of is when you send a date, don't just put it in the email, send a calendar invite. People get so many emails that it gets lost. So as soon as you put it on the calendar, you put the list plan around it.
You don't necessarily do like a calendar invite.
You don't have to pay Dylan.
Yeah.
I do have one comment and a challenge for all of us here. I think to get more people involved, that 0 to 3 experience, invite them. Have them come say, I'm going to come, you be my guest, whether there's a charge, you know, and that's the other thing. If there's a charge, it might be $5, $10 for a non-member. So as a rep, that's a piece of cake, but anybody here in leadership or, you know, designers that attend, have your leadership pay for someone in your firm and bring somebody along, bring a friend.
And I would add another challenge to reps that if you cover an area where there is a school that has designers, make sure you go talk to them and ask to talk to their material classes or, you know, ask the interior design director. That's what I do. And try to go to all the schools and take them samples and help them stock their library, especially, you know, the ones in Southern Illinois, Carbondale. I've been there and Seagull, and all of them. So that's my challenge to other reps.
Okay, I think that's some great feedback and some good ideas going. Any other questions that we have? I'm gonna check online real quick.
Is anyone surprised by the salary ranges this year? Are we feeling good about them? No? Okay. That's fair.
I did notice that the range of some of like the certified position, not the median range, like the actual ranges was very wide. So that was.
I think also there were more participants as well. And part of that might be skewed a little bit because there were almost 50 more. Yeah. I want to know who gets pet insurance.
That might be more for salary ranges, just as a demographic note, like the cyber. Yeah, because I think that.
Shares a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I know we do track, you know, what type of workplace, whether it's sales rep, dealership, independent rep, but we do not track the size of firms, and that's.
If anyone still has a copy of this last business journal, the St. Louis Business Journal, I found it particularly interesting and timely, has talked a lot about post-pandemic and the workplace environment and how now employers have kind of like the scale has tipped. So employees were demanding, you know, more work from home and rightly so. And I think in general, it helped our design industry, but now the scale has been tipped a little bit and now it's in the benefit of the employers because there's less movement. All movement has happened. So there's a couple articles that specifically address that. So I would take a look at that and see if there's anything within that content that you could add to this survey, because now we're how many years post-pandemic, and I think, you know, now the swing is gonna go back a little bit, back to pre-pandemic.
I have a date. It's March 1st, from 2 to 5 at POE.
Great. And we'll get that up on the website with the take a leap soon after this too.
Okay. Well, thank you for all of those who participated online.
Yeah.
Well, and again, if you are interested in joining the committee. Yeah. Let me know.
And get yourself some more coffee, some more food to go, take some with you. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Thursday.
We made it funny.